have to open a lot of windows.
Oh, okay.
And then I just keep forgetting to close them.
Yeah.
Take this!
I can't seem to get this fixed, so I feel like if I did get it fixed, maybe my computer wouldn't be on the verge of exploding every time I use it. So there's a place.
You're gonna have to get a new computer soon.
I mean, I don't want to. I feel like this one's a perfectly good computer. You know, just like, you know, just has to, you know, work some stuff out and fix it, but whatever. I'll just try and figure it out. So I was thinking, like, what changes do we want to make to this thing? Because I've got the layout right here on the screen, and so it's running.
Twitch was hidden.
Oh, okay, on your.
In my mess of windows.
So there's this, you know, that's the last. This is the last look of it so far.
Right.
And
I'm not sure how much we need to change.
well, I'm just trying to. Well, the thing is, I'm prepping for what's going to be basically our busy season, because we'll have. Because right now we just have a baseball score crawl.
Right.
But, like, hold on, let me show you. Actually, the NFL and NCAA one should be up now. So let me. And NBA schedule just came out, and you know NHL will start up. So like by October we'll have all the sports going.
Probably mid to late, but yeah.
Yeah, because well, baseball playoffs, NHL and NBA, and then all the and football. So I like having all of that information on the screen.
Right, not to mention that we have we said baseball playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So hold on, let me see if I can.
it's gonna be the trickiest.
So there's the NFL. Let's see if I can pop it forward. There it is. It's loading, but. So I got Smash Brothers going in the background. I've been playing because they added a new tournament mode.
Oh, did they?
So like you can compete in online tournaments, and I've won like 5 of them so far, which has not been an easy task, but well, it kind of goes to show you how many people are actually really good at this game and put me to shame when I play them.
Yeah.
I got to a final, one-on-one versus somebody. I think they were playing as like Luigi, and I forgot who I was playing as. Was it like Sonic or Samus or something like that? One of the. It doesn't matter because it was you both 2 lives each. You guys, there's 2 minutes left. There's no items, and I didn't land a single hit on this person.
Oh my god.
Like, I didn't even touch them. I did not even touch them. You know, you would have thought I would have had at least one random hit, and nope, not a single. Like, they utter domination.
Well, I will say this. A Twitch streamer that I watch when I get the chance. I don't really get to watch him often because our schedules don't match. Made an interesting point when people were asking him. He's a clone hero streamer, so he played these kind of custom-made charts for Guitar Hero.
Okay.
And you asked him, you're so good, but why don't you practice more, things like that. And he kind of said, I'm kind of summarizing. He said, basically said that I'm not going to sacrifice my
I lost you. I lost you there. I thought I lost you there. The sacrifice is what?
Sacrifices like his personal life, his social life, just over a game.
Yeah.
Even if it is the primary source of his income, he didn't want to go down that route, which was actually very interesting to hear because, now that you think about it, people who you literally couldn't get a single hit in on them.
Yeah.
I imagine they spend most of their time
playing this game.
Playing Smash.
Right.
Smash Brothers. And, good on them, but, you've got a successful career, you have friends, things like that. So it's a trade-off.
I guess. Still sucks when you lose, though. Like, when I played that, I didn't actually. That person just utterly destroyed me so much. I was like, wow. I have to hand it to I clap for them. I'm like, this good on you. Like, that was where that was basically if I played in a 3-point contest against Steph Curry.
Right.
I probably wouldn't land one, and he'd probably land 30. And, he didn't. There was at one point where he probably should have just messed with me a little bit, but he didn't. He just took care of me pretty quickly. I've lost matches where it's okay, there's no time left. There's no way I can defeat them in the last 10 seconds. So we both kind of stand at each end of the stage and just I crouch down you've bested me, sir. But I that one was just bad. It was just whoa. I admired the skill. But alright, so now I've got the NFL score up there. So let me find the NCAA football one. If I can find it. I haven't used it in forever. It's been dormant for so long. So how was the bar, dude? I never asked you.
I think I sound crazy, but I had fun.
Okay. Elaborate.
Someone else I told, I said that to. She said that I'm probably the first person in history who's ever said that.
Yeah.
The studying was worse than the bar itself. I have a couple of theories as to why that is.
Okay.
For one thing, I split. I took the MBE this time, so I know no matter what happens, whether I pass or I fail, I'm going back to Tampa in February.
Okay.
I don't really have that stress of, oh my God, I don't want to go back to Tampa again. I'm going back there.
Regardless.
Sure. The only difference is, am I taking one part or am I taking two parts?
Right.
Take Florida. I don't want to have to buy Adaptabar again. I have to study for that again. I'd rather focus all of my energy just on Florida. But I'm going back there regardless, so I'm not concerned about that.
Alright, so ESPN hasn't posted the college football
Really?
score crawl yet. Nope. I'm surprised. We're pretty close to.
They posted the schedules based on each individual conference.
Right, but they don't have a actual score crawl, so I can't post it on screen here.
Maybe just do a placeholder then.
Usually, like I was thinking, the way I have it now. So let me adjust the screen here for this. Is to have the score crawl kind of hitting the top and the bottom. I'll make this game screen a little smaller. Whoa. Come on. I'm watching
Also,
this match.
If I'm seeing it correctly,
Oh, he missed his shot. He should have grabbed him. Sorry. I was watching this match.
Is this an actual match?
Yeah, these are actual people playing.
Oh, so you can watch, you can spectate.
Yeah, I can spectate.
That's cool.
That's literally what the mode is called, actually.
Oh.
So, alright, continue.
Second, and I think most importantly, I was doing well on my practice test going into it. Overall, I was getting, based on all the questions I had done across all the subjects, and I did over 1,000 questions, I was at about a 64%.
Okay.
Which is about where I wanted to be. Maybe I wanted to be at 65, but I'll take a 64. And then on individual tests, 100 question tests, I was getting 63, 64, 65. So I was feeling good about the scores that I was getting. And then third, I had a nice drive over. I love driving. Part of the fun for me going to Orlando whenever I do is just being able to drive.
Yeah.
I especially love the turnpike because I stop about halfway through at
the rest stops.
At the Port St. Lucie rest stop.
Oh, yeah.
About exactly halfway.
Yeah.
I'll stop, maybe grab a drink or whatever. Just rest for a little bit. It's very relaxing. When they say it's the less stress way, they mean it.
Yeah.
Except when you get into Miami.
That's true, and that's when the rest stops end as well, so.
I think in Miami goes to hell. And then I think fourth, if subconsciously, it's that I've been waiting for this for almost 2 years, because I was originally supposed to take February 2018. I couldn't take July 2017 because I had to take a couple of classes over the summer to meet credit requirement. So my first opportunity was going to be about a year and a half ago. So I'm just ready to get this over with. I wasn't scared, really. Maybe a little bit intimidated at first, going into the convention center and seeing all those people.
Right.
I think the other thing that helped was I just had to do the one thing. I got to go in one day. I didn't have to worry about the essays and whatever. Just went in, did the one day, and so I think it was just kind of like a confluence of factors. And I was nervous as hell. Because, Grossman and Ruiz always said one of the segments is always harder than the other. And you'll know which one pretty soon. My first segment, my morning session, was by far the harder one.
Right.
I probably got done with a minute to go, and it wasn't like I had, I was going on time and had like one question. I was like at one question left with a minute. I had to go. I was probably having to average about a minute per question to get in on time, which that certainly made me very nervous.
Yeah.
To the point where I wasn't even like crying or shaking or anything. I was just laughing out of pure
disbelief,
euphoria of being able to get it done on time. I don't know, but I was just like, it was like almost uncontrollable laughter. It was like, oh my god, when you see something amazing or whatever, and you're just like, oh my god. That's kind of how it felt like. I just couldn't contain a smile. It was like, wow, I couldn't believe that happened.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I got the hard portion in the morning.
Just to get out of the way.
Just to get it out of the way. And I had been hoping, when I knew about the, one is harder than the other, I had been hoping and against hope that I would get the hard one in the morning, get it out of the way, have the easier one in the afternoon, and then relax.
Yeah.
And that's what happened, which was fantastic. The second one, I got done in probably 5 minutes. And that gave me enough time to go through, make sure everything was bubbled correctly, make sure that I answered all the questions. So I felt a lot more relaxed after that one. The buffet was also nice too. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, as confident as I feel in my score, I have this bad feeling that, you always hear that, oh, I think I did so fantastic, I obviously passed, and then turns out that you absolutely bombed the thing. So I'm trying not to let that get into my head. I'm just, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
I feel like I did fine. There were more questions than not where I knew the question right then.
Perfect.
I didn't have to think about it. It was just, I knew the answer right there 100%. There were a lot of questions where a lot of questions I was able to narrow it down to 2. And had a pretty good idea of the question, the topic, things like that. So I had a pretty good sense of where I needed to go. And then some I just had no freaking clue, but I made an educated guess. But that was few and far between, which I think also makes me feel a bit. Jeez Louise, that person is at 102%.
Yeah, much.
109%.
Yeah. You just can't take them out.
121%.
And yeah, they finally took her out. Oh no, it's just oh, there it
Oh,
is.
there she goes. Ended at 138%.
Yeah.
Although this dude is at 132%. He's probably gone soon. He's gone.
Yeah, it was 2 versus 1 at that point. You know, there's no way. Well, actually, I can't say that because we've had a few of those ourselves when we play multiplayer. So, okay, so I don't know if you want to look at the screen or oh no, you're watching it right now, so you're seeing the changes. So it looks kind of, I don't know. So this is kind of like once the NFL comes in, and what I'll probably do is. So that means like the game screen is smaller, but I kind of like it this way because then the other information can be shown there. And hold on, where am I with regards to? I don't know if the NHL has any scores. If I can pop up here or not. Let me see. No. But my idea was to have maybe the whole top and the whole bottom occupying the space of the scores. And then like we could have both, like football, all football on the top.
That's what I was thinking.
Like
just kind of try to group it if possible.
Yeah, so like let me pop up the NCAA one again. So where is it? Right here. Actually, there. And we'll just leave the whatever ESPN has there as a placeholder, just to see it.
I try to do.
No, tennis. They have tennis up there, so we'll just leave tennis up there for what have you.
Yeah, just put some placeholder. It doesn't really matter at this point. Something that I try to do. Well, for one thing, the NFL logo is gone off screen.
I have no idea where it went, actually. So that's odd. Oh wait. Oh, I know what happened. Sorry. Just gonna move it over. There it is. Yes. Just gonna erase that. And move the chat screen a little bit further down for now. Alright, so that's, where's the NCAA logo? There's. Just to kind of have it like there in the middle, so they kind of both take their halves.
Now, another thing that I would do personally, I think I had mentioned this in a previous stream, is notice how at the bottom crawl, there's a slight over length of that crawl.
Slight over length?
Right, see how it doesn't line up with the screen? Oh wait, are you dragging the crawl all the way across for the top one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, okay, so the bottom screen, I just have to add like a vertical kind of separation graphic there to kind of create its own section. Like, and everything won't even out with regards to like the game screen because it's 16 by 9, and when you make it smaller, I mean, it's meant to fill up the whole screen. So when we add more info, we have to make it smaller if you want to see the whole screen. So then it kind of messes everything up. Because then if I filled it up to full screen, stuff will be cut off on the game screen. So let me find this right here. Okay. As they're playing on the Nintendo screen there. What?
Okay, so while I'm doing this, I'm also kind of catching up on a lot of modding that I missed.
Yeah.
For RCFP.
Ah, yeah.
And what happens is people have the ability to report posts.
Right.
And they can give a reason for it, whether it's
Offensive or whatever.
it's a personal attack, yada yada yada. But they also have the ability to customize the message. So what happened was a 4-star defensive end committed to University of Texas. Much to the chagrin of really Texas A&M, because I don't care that they haven't played in almost 7 years. That's still their big rival. You can't take that rivalry away. You just can't. It's such a big rivalry that Texas is explicitly mentioned in Texas A&M's fight song.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. So someone wrote a report on the submission saying that he committed, and says, "This makes me sad." Frowning face.
Yeah. That was the complaint?
That was the complaint. This makes me sad.
That was it?
That was the complaint. We'll get some funny ones like that every now and then, but that was pretty funny.
Red team win.
Oh, and did you hear about Antonio Brown?
Oh, his helmet stuff?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, he might retire. Actually, I was watching. So there's on local WSVN channel 7.
Yeah.
They have like a sports hour every 11:30 every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like their sports talk show or whatever. So so yesterday they had Roberto Luongo on.
Right.
So that was pretty cool to see him, whatever, and then one of the guys on the show is Drew Rosenhaus.
The agent?
Yeah. So he's always on the show. So yeah, and Antonio Brown is his agent, which figures.
Yeah.
Drew Rosenhaus, he was Terrell Owens' agent. I'm pretty sure he actually got famous because of Terrell Owens.
Rosenhaus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they actually asked him about it, and he said, "Yeah, we've filed a formal complaint with the league, and we'll figure out what's going on and all that stuff." And then, but other than that, I can't say anything more. So we'll see what happens.
Well, according
I
to him
doubt.
on social media, he said that he's looking forward to playing.
I doubt he'll retire. There's too much money on the table. He's a diva.
He's a diva.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver, of course.
I don't know. Some wide receivers aren't that bad, but he is particularly bad.
Yeah. I think it's just an attention ploy. And one, I don't. So the NFL has their helmet policy. I guess it's kind of like the NHL's, right? Where before, the guys who didn't wear helmets in the NHL, they got grandfathered in when helmets became required.
Right.
And then, after Taylor Hall got smacked in the face during warm-ups, they made visors mandatory for all rookies or all NHL players. But anybody who didn't have visors, was grandfathered in. They could keep them off if they wanted them to until they retired. Right?
Right.
So I assume the NFL is kind of the same, but I guess when you change teams, then it doesn't apply?
They did have a grandfather. It was a much sort of. It was kind of like a hybrid almost. Because they had announced well in advance that they were going to switch.
Uh-huh.
But I think they only gave them one grandfather year. Well, no. Anyone could grandfather in. Now that I think about it, there was no grandfathering. Hold on, let me talk it out. So they said, okay, these are the acceptable helmets.
Okay.
We are going only to the acceptable helmets in 2019. It doesn't matter if you played with them before.
Okay.
Wearing the acceptable helmets starting in 2019. They gave them one kind of a gap year, if you will, in 2018, where it was strongly advised
To switch. So you get used to it and all that stuff.
Right, but they weren't going to enforce the rule yet. And there were, I think, 30 some odd players who still used unapproved helmets last year. Which means obviously that the vast majority of the league had switched by then.
Right.
But this year, everyone had to switch over, and that includes like Tom Brady.
Right.
He's not thrilled with it, but
he's not gonna make a big deal out of it. Right.
No. Antonio Brown, though, had to just absolutely be Antonio Brown.
And make a stink about it.
Which is a very Antonio Brown thing to do.
Right.
But beyond the fact that... And the thing is, there's no way that he could have gotten that same helmet because the manufacturer doesn't make that model anymore. And then on top of that, I don't think you can really repaint helmets. He would have to use the same shell.
And they can't repaint them? I'm just saying, I thought it'd be like hockey masks, you just spray paint them or whatever. I mean, that's what I would have thought, but I don't know. I'm not a helmet manufacturer or whatever. Maybe there's a video on YouTube about it.
Well, they say how to paint it, so I imagine, yeah, I guess you could repaint it. But man, I don't think I've ever heard of someone repainting their football helmets.
When they switch teams.
Mhm.
I mean, the NFL has that weird policy where they only have one helmet per season or whatever.
Which I think is total bullshit.
Unless it breaks, in which they have to get a new one, but...
Well, I think it's more that it's only... well, yeah, it's only one shell.
Right. Which destroys throwback uniforms for a lot of teams. Except for, like, the Dolphins.
So unfortunate, because those were fun.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, yeah, and only a few teams can do them now. If their previous helmets were the same color. Like, Dolphins are golden. They'll always have throwback ready helmets, except for the face masks. But whatever.
I'll tell you though that what was I gonna say?
All right, so I don't know if you're looking at the screen, but
Yeah.
so that's how it's looking right now. So let's say hypothetically the NHL and the NBA come back, we'll just, stick them back in. And I'll just have these as placeholders for now, but so the NBA and NHL come back, or when they come back, and college basketball as well, they can all kind of occupy the bottom screen like that.
Oh my god, it's gonna be such a mess.
Well, I mean, we had it before. Because by the time those will be back, baseball will be gone. So let's just pretend baseball is college basketball. I remember NBA and NHL don't play, don't have like, some nights don't have like 10 games going on. Sometimes they have like 3 or 4.
Yeah, and there may be like a week or two where all of them are playing when at the trail end of the MLB playoffs.
Right. So, yeah, and even then, the MLB playoffs will be like 2 or 3 games happening that night. That's it.
Right.
So it won't be that big of an issue. Especially when the NBA comes in, it'll be like October 20th something. And by that point, we're probably at or near the World Series. So it'd just be one score. And then like the NFL and NCAA can always be up there because they're always going to have the previous week's scores or the next week's schedule.
Right.
So, and then on the right you see the chat. So, let's test it out actually. Let's see how it is. Let me find a long quote here. Okay, let me post something. Let me post a really long quote. Alright, let's see if this works. Let's see how that looks.
Oh man,
What?
that is a long quote.
It's from Rick and Morty.
This is kind of like our Lorem Itsum Dolor Sit Amet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the last one I got was from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And this
We
one's
need to come up with one of those, like, and just stick with it. And with, like I said, it'll become our lorem ipsum.
I mean, I could always do that Always Sunny one because it's sports related.
Let's do
It's
that
it's
then.
a letter to Chase Utley. Let me see if I can.
Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll say 10 because it's two incomplete lines.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's actually a little bit longer, so that's really taking it to the extreme.
Yeah. So, yeah, people will put other quotes like this, like smaller quotes, like that.
I think Joe Flacco's elite.
You know, or some, what's it? Some controversial things. Like this.
Careful who you say that to.
Well, be careful who I say this to. This last one.
Where's the lie? It's true.
And then I was thinking, you know, it'd be pretty cool to do. But that's another thing about the show. Like, I want to see if, like, maybe we can implement that idea I once had, like, where we have one, like, main topic that we talk about. I think you said something like that too. Like, it was like the sports reporters or something.
Yeah.
Like we'd have one main topic that we talk about, and you know, we'll dedicate like a smaller portion to like the smaller news, but like we'll tackle one really big one for like
Something kind of
15
like
to 20.
the thing on extending the netting.
Yeah. Or actually, I was thinking. Hold on one second. Let me grab something to drink.
I think that robot's going to be losing here in a second.
Ugh. Hello?
I'm here.
Alright, so I was thinking. Like we do a baseball stadium name tier list.
How the hell did the robot not win? Or
How the heck did
how
he win?
Made? That's like that's a total comeback. He had over 100% damage, while the other guy had below 50% damage and still came back to win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's see. So like do like a or the shortening of the schedules.
Yeah.
And how we would do it. Especially because the NBA announced that their 75th anniversary, they might actually experiment with a shortened season.
Yeah.
Because single season records aren't actually the NBA's records in general aren't really as revered as in baseball.
Right.
I think baseball reveres their stats more than anything.
Well, baseball is a much more stats-driven sport than the others, in my opinion.
Right.
Just, you don't see like B-WAR, risk, RBIs, whip, just regular WAR, slugging. You don't see that kind of stuff in the other sports. Just rebounds, blocks, assists, points, steals, turnovers.
Right. I think what was it?
The only thing like that in NFL is quarterback play.
Yeah, well, the NBA, I think one of the big things now is efficiency. So that's one of the hot things now is how efficient your player is. And the NHL has tried with different metrics as well, but
it pales in comparison to what baseball comes up with.
right. And even then, a lot of the NHL is basically like, it's all up to chance because of the randomness of the sport.
Right.
Alright, so
There's actually a great quote. I'm trying to find it from a baseball movie called Little Big League. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
which one is that? The kid that owns the Minnesota Twins, or the kid that was on the Chicago Cubs?
No. It's the one where he owns the Twins.
Okay. I wonder if that kid tried to bilk Minnesota into funding his new stadium. I would love to see a sequel to that.
It's interesting. I was talking with BU about this. Maybe you would slid in about how Calgary is.
Yeah, they're basically.
Getting Calgary to pay for the arena.
Yeah, but I think Calgary's gonna do it. So watch.
Apparently, Golden State 100% privately funded their new arena.
The Warriors.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's right next to. Well, I was just in San Francisco. I didn't see their new arena yet. I saw the Giants stadium from outside. It looks nice. But the Giants stadium is privately funded too.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it matters more now, though, because that wasn't so much of an issue, I think, back in, or at least it wasn't as public an issue back then.
Yeah.
But now it's like everyone and their mother is trying to get the city or the government to pay for their stadium.
Uh-huh.
So to see a team that probably almost certainly could have gotten public funding for their new arena, they decided to go at it 100% private. So hopefully there's some hope for the future.
I think the Warriors owner he probably looked at the Giants because since they moved, they've been successful at their new stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're not beholden to rent or anything like that, they control everything. All the concessions, like everything is theirs because it truly is theirs.
That's the thing. I don't get why.
And because they're in, San Francisco where everything's expensive, they're just gonna make more money. Because people are gonna want to be seen at that Warriors game,
I think for that reason alone, that would make teams more wanting to privately fund.
You would think, right? I mean, the Dolphin Stadium is privately funded too. So, even though
And, like,
Stephen Ross attempted to get Broward and Miami-Dade to fix up the stadium with renovations, and they were just like, no, it's not an issue, and you're not moving anywhere, so yeah, there's no way the NFL would let the Dolphins move out of Miami.
you don't think so?
Well, and I mean it's moot now, but no way. They're basically a legacy team at this point.
Yeah, I kind of get the sense that once... That's not true. St. Louis... I was going to say, once a team wins a championship, they're kind of stuck. But no, that's not the case.
They moved back to their old home, so... I mean, it's not like... I mean, it'd be funny if the Flames were like, well, we're just going to move back to Atlanta. We have the uniforms and all this stuff, like, and the arena's there. If soccer could work there now, can you imagine hockey? You know, we actually have a good team now. That'd be an ultimate surprise.
That would probably be decided to go back to
Yeah, Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Because like all the leagues have their relocation city.
Right.
Their
Atlanta is not one of them.
their threat city, you know? Like the NBA right now is what the heck just happened? Crap. Oops.
Seattle, right?
Yeah. Don't know what the hell just happened. Okay. Yeah, the NBA has Seattle. Major League Baseball has Montreal. The NFL used to have Los Angeles.
That's gone. Times 2.
Yeah, so... and they
If
used...
they had possibly been able to fit another team in there, maybe, but they're not fitting a third.
A third what?
A third team.
Oh, in LA? No.
Yeah, I thought it's like maybe if it's just the Rams that went, maybe they could fit another team in there. They did it before with the Rams and the Raiders, but like they've got the two teams. No one. Los Angeles is full.
Right.
So LA is definitely done.
Right.
Hold on, give me 1 sec.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I finally found that quote I was talking about. I'm trying to write it up so I can say it.
Oh, you gonna post it?
Oh no, I'm just gonna write it and then I'll tell it to you. Let's see. Okay, so they're talking about, this is going back to the weird baseball stats thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're talking about this player who used to be good. Now he's played for 11 years. He's batting below the Mendoza line, and he's in a pinch hit role. So the commentators are trying to find anything positive about this guy, any stats. So it says, last year he was 6th in the American League facing right-handers for the first time after the 7th inning at home.
That's scraping the bottom of the barrel there, huh?
Exactly. Like, you don't see stuff like that in other sports. I mean, obviously that's a bit of an exaggeration, but the fact that people laugh at that kind of proves the point.
That's true. Oh gosh. Alright, so this is more or less how I want it to look. Right?
Let me see what we got.
Not too shabby. Plenty of space.
Crap, where did I put it? Where did I put Twitch? There we go. The only thing I'd change is I would, if you can, squish the Sports Goofs logo on the top right so it's in line with the bottom, or vice versa. See how one is a little bit longer than the other?
Yeah. I don't think it'll work out like that. Because then it'll leave this weird awkwardness here. Unless... Hold on. Let's... Let's see what I can do here. Let me see if I can get this. No, that's not what I want. Let's see if I can. Oh yeah, she's dead. Wow. That was overkill. Let me see if I
That's
can...
another thing. I want to see if it's even possible to work on stream lag.
I mean, I don't... like I have it set to be as quickly as possible for interaction. So very low latency. And I've noticed that on like on one platform it's faster than the other. I'm not sure, but let me just see if I can get one more thing here. Where's the NFL scores there?
3, 2, 1, go!
Ah, no. Yay. Okay. So then we even out the one here on the bottom. How about that?
Much better.
Okay.
Much better.
That's not too shabby.
I don't know. I just like evenness.
Yeah, it does look a lot cleaner. Alright, so now we'll get to the 4x3 screen. This is a lot different.
Did you just randomly post in Discord?
Yeah. Oh no, I was agreeing to your post on Discord.
Oh.
So okay, so how's this gonna work on the 4x3 screen? Alright, so ooh, just got owned. Jigglypuff. Sheesh. Alright, so I think this is improved.
So did they ever say why the power went out?
I mean, when I walked out, I smelled like burning, so some probably lightning struck something, a transformer or whatever.
That's possible.
Because it wasn't just
At
our
one
building; it
time-
was like the block.
What's that?
It wasn't just our building; it was like the block, because like the street lights were out. And whatever, so like,
Funny story kind of happened to me once, kind of like that. I was about to go to a UCF football game back in 2012, but during a tailgate, I was playing. I was playing catch with someone on the Memory Mall, which is, I'm not sure if you've been to UCF, but it's this large. You can almost describe it as a quad, basically. It's, I guess, the equivalent of a campus quad.
okay.
Which is the main tailgate area on campus. So I twisted my ankle, sprained my ankle. So obviously I'm not, and I was trying desperately to get to the game because I was out of the hospital in time for the game to not have started.
Okay.
But it had started to rain, so Jamie was adamant, no, you are not going to the game. We can compromise. We'll go to the Buffalo Wild Wings down the street and we can watch it from there. I said, fine. Silly. So we went. The game is going on, and then all of a sudden, lights go out. It's on emergency lights. Everything is, like I said, everything was just shut down entirely.
Right.
And we were wondering what the heck happened. We were all getting mad because we didn't know what happened. Turns out, someone ran into the transformer.
Oh no.
Drove their car into the transformer.
Oh boy.
I don't know what happened to the person. I don't know if they're okay or not, but still, it's like, come on.
Let's see if this works. Trying to see if I can work this evenness here. Yeah, those guys didn't stand a chance. Alright, how about that? This is the 4x3 screen. We're playing older games.
I like it.
Yeah. About as even as I can get it. Let me paste our little quote here. I hate that it cuts off. I guess there's a limit to the amount that can be shown.
Oh, have you seen this YouTube channel called Device Orchestra?
Nope. Have not.
I think you'll have a fun time with it. Let me see a good song. Ooh, this is a good one. I think you'll like this one. Here, I'm shooting it over to your Facebook real quick.
Yeah. On the messenger?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can. No, I want to send. How do I copy? Copy. Oh, and this is a perfect time to test out our search screen.
What's that?
It's a perfect time to test out our search screen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Ooh. Big rebuff is. Alrighty. Device orchestra. Hold on, 1 second. Hello, good afternoon. Hi, Petro, how are you? Spoke of what? Oh, okay. Oh, yes, okay. Okay. No, that's yeah. No, I'm fine. I mean, that
There are a ton of Mario power-ups. I've even made videos in the past about these little bundles of joy, but ranking all of them is a whole different level. This list will include power-ups from all the main 2D and 3D Mario games. I won't be counting the power-ups from spin-offs like Paper Mario or the Mario & Luigi RPGs, as well as Yoshi besides his appearance in Mario 64 DS since you can control him, and the captures from Mario Odyssey won't count either. Defining a power-up was surprisingly hard to do because the idea of one ranges in a large spectrum, but I decided that if it attaches to your body and it changes you, that counts. So that means no POW blocks or potted piranha plants, but things like a blue shell or cape feather will count. And with all that said, let's get her ranked. 64, Rotten Mushroom. This is a power-up that literally hurts you. If you're small Mario, you'll just straight up die. And worse, it chases you around and can climb up walls. That's just cruel, man. 63, Poison Mushroom. It's basically the rotten mushroom, but it doesn't chase you around. However, in the older games, it looks kind of similar to the normal mushroom, so you do need to pay close attention. 62, Goomba Mask. You run around with a Goomba mask so Goombas don't recognize you. It's honestly pretty useless, seeing how easy it is to squish Goombas to begin with. Plus, you can't get rid of it unless you get hit. 61, Spin Drill. You'll use this to dig through the dirt quickly, but it has no other use beyond that. It exists to be a fun level gimmick, and that's about it. 60, Mini Mushroom. You shrink way down in size and can go through tiny pathways, walk on water, and even up walls in the newer titles. However, you're really vulnerable to pretty much every enemy. Most of them require a ground pound to knock out. Like the Spin Drill, it's just a gimmick to find secret areas and levels. 59, Gold Block. A brick block somehow goes through your head and you can collect a bunch of coins with it. I guess if you want to get one-ups quickly, that can be useful, but for the most part, it just doesn't have much of a reason to exist. 58, Yoshi Power Flower. Even though I said Yoshi doesn't count, he's technically a character in Mario 64 DS, and the Power Flower gives him the ability to breathe fire. While that's useful for things like melting ice blocks, really it's just slower than eating enemies and turning them into eggs. 57, Light Box. This helps you see through dark areas and can poof away boos if you point the light at one long enough. It's okay, but really only useful for these specific circumstances. 56, Ice Skate. You hop into one giant skate and can move across the ice slightly easier and faster. The big issue is you can't slow down at all, and you'll lose the skate when you run into something like a wall. 55, Frog Suit. This one is infamous for being horrible, and it kind of is on land since hopping around is extremely awkward and slow. But swimming with this on is pretty fantastic. You move a lot faster and just more fluidly. 54, Super Mushroom. It feels weird to have this one so low on the list, but all it does is make you grow in size and you can take an extra hit. You can also break through most blocks, but it doesn't do much beyond that. 53, Weird Mushroom. It's basically the Super Mushroom, but now you have a slightly better jump and you look pretty lanky. 52, Boom Mushroom. You go temporarily invisible and float through certain walls. However, you move really slowly and you'll lose your form if another boo or light touches you. 51, Vanish Cap. It's really similar to the Boo Mushroom as you can pass through certain walls for a short period. However, this cap lets you keep all of Mario's moves, deeming him much more useful. 50, Metal Cap. With this, you can walk on water and you're invincible. It sounds pretty great, and it is, but the metal cap only lasts for a brief period of time, which really nerfs its potential. 49. Spring Mushroom. You can spring yourself high into the air with a well-timed jump. You can even climb up walls with this thing, but just moving around is annoying, and you can't attack either besides ground pounding. 48. Hammer Suit. You can throw hammers just like a hammer bro. It's definitely cool, but a bit hard to aim with since the hammers arch up. 47. Super Ball Flower. A fireball that bounces all over the place. It's really hard to use properly, and you can only throw one at a time, but it's a unique inclusion and even made its way into Super Mario Maker 2 somehow. 46. Boomerang Flower. You throw one boomerang at a time and it can hit multiple enemies at once. While that's cool and all, it is a little tricky to aim with. 45. Power Balloon. Mario puffs up and can float for a little bit. While you can gain a good amount of height, you're really vulnerable in this state and move slowly, so it's not the most practical flying item. 44. Rock Mushroom. You turn into a giant rock to launch yourself forward and can destroy most things in your path. It's a little hard to control, but you're able to break giant structures that you normally wouldn't be able to. 43. Double Cherry. For those that dreamed of controlling several Tanuki Rosalinas, the Double Cherry fills that niche just for you. This can be incredibly useful with the right power-ups attached, but it's also a chore trying to control multiple characters at once. 42. Galaxy's Fire Flower.
Talking to me?
So yes, this is the
Yeah, I'm here.
classic Fire Flower, but I'm counting
What's
it as
that
a different
about?
power-up for one big reason.
Oh.
It can only be used for a
Really?
temporary amount of time, which really sucks. Plus, they're harder to
Let me
aim
guess,
with
it's
since
because
you're
of
in
the
a
San
3D
Francisco
space.
case.
41. Galaxy's Ice Flower. This is slightly better than the Galaxy's
Wait a minute,
Fire
didn't
Flower
you just
because
get
you
a
can
I mean, so I guess I can retell the tale, because I couldn't write everything that I wanted to write down, and even then it would probably be like I might as well just write a law review article if that was the case. That'd be awesome if I wrote a law review article, just like a law review article for someone who wasn't accepted law review. Now, I'm not holding any grudges against FRU law, but I'm going to make the editor read this and... You goody two-shoes. So what if I had... So you think you're so special with your 3.6 GPA in law school? Well, I'll tell you what, Missy, that don't mean nothing in the real world. But anyways, man, this Samus... cannot get rid of this Falco here. Just grab him. I'm watching this match as if I was use your bombs. It's always a nice disruptor. There we go. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I got it was really under 24 hours that I had to. Why would you do that? It's dumb, Samus. He has a reflector. Why would you ever use your charge shot from 40 feet away where he could see it clearly coming? I always use it when they least expect it.
Yeah.
Because they think that I'm going to use it, and so they keep reflecting. At some point, they stop anticipating it, so they stop using the reflector, and that's when I use it.
Right.
Because they're not they're realizing I was not going to use it until I use it. But
Very sneaky.
yeah, very sneaky, sis. So yeah, the was it the less than 24 hours? I thought I was going to Atlanta, and you know, at this point, I've been sick of traveling. So even though I didn't travel as much in July as I did in June, so whatever. Well, you know, I'll go and I'll do it. And some facts, like the guy was from El Salvador, and I'm like, okay, I'm probably not gonna win this case. Holy crap, she survived and she's dead. Never mind. I thought, like, that like, okay, he's from this country, but then I was looking at the facts of this case, and this guy got shot 4 times in like broad daylight, in the face, like for no reason whatsoever, like just absolutely, like some one of these freaking a teenager, like a young kid, he just had a gun and pulled up and shot him, like without reason, without impunity, just straight up, like no remorse for human life. And I guess the fact that he survived is a miracle. So that's why it was like the most extreme case that I've had, because I've you know, that's like the most extreme where I've seen where somebody was like legit gunned down for no reason. So then his
no reason for it.
yeah, like he didn't get robbed. It was nothing. Like didn't take So anyways, so whatever. I prepped for the case. I had my template of questions that I usually use, and then I tailor it to whatever case I have.
Right.
So I read through his case. I read, I learned all the facts, and for asylum, there's like, it's, on the basis of 5 things. So political opinion is usually, and yeah, I think it's just that there. Political opinion and what was it? Religion, race, nationality. But then, like, the tricky one is particular social group. Okay? That's the one where, like, you can basically try and make up anything to be in this particular social group. So, a silly example would be Super Smash Brothers players or something.
Right.
Like, you've been persecuted because you only main Pikachu, and
Right.
and the leader of the country of Kuwait really hates Pikachu mains because he mains Pichu. So, well, that was an awesome move, Pikachu. So then you plead asylum for that. So most of these people that are coming from El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, and Guatemala, basically all the bad hombres that you keep hearing about. Not to get too political, but whatever. So, like, they're being mostly threatened by gangs.
Right.
So the Trump administration over the last few years has been trying to cut off all of the avenues for relief for these folks to win asylum.
Right.
One of the avenues that they've narrowed is what constitutes a particular social group. And what constitutes the harm, what constitutes persecution, and by whom. So one big case last year came that basically said you can't be persecuted by a private actor, okay? to win asylum. It has to be
The government.
the government doing it, and
Or a government-sponsored organization.
right,
I
exactly.
remember that from working on the guy from Guatemala.
Yeah. When you helped me research, so like, so like we try to figure something out with regards to, okay, can we find a government connection of some sort, what have you? And usually I try to get, I mean, most people will say, well, I try to go to the police, or I didn't go to the police, and the reason why is because the police work with the gangs because, they've been paid off or what have you,
Right.
or, there's moles and stuff like that. So, but proving that is hard
Right.
because you can only go on people's word because most people don't have that type of evidence with them, and it's usually not documented or anything like that. So, kind of, you're kind of out of luck, and you try to work on, you can't have direct evidence, so you try to work with as much circumstantial evidence as you've got,
Right.
but it's still very hard because most people leave and they don't take anything with them except like their passport or maybe their birth certificate and not much else. So now this guy's case, he had more evidence than most people. He had a police report. He had a medical report from when he was in the hospital and all that stuff. Like he went to the police to make a report, all that stuff. But because of where he's from and all that stuff, I still was trying to figure out a government actor, and so I still had my doubts, just because of my experience and the trends and all that stuff. Anyways, I get to San Francisco. This is like my first time there, so I haven't been to this airport, and I'm trying to get my Lyft driver, and I don't know where the heck to go for them to pick me up over there. So it took me like 20 minutes just to find them at the airport.
Right.
And I literally had to get off the plane and go straight to the court because there wasn't much time for me to I didn't eat at that point either. That was another detail I didn't put. I hadn't eaten. So
You went straight to court without having eaten.
yeah, because I woke up that morning and flew from Miami to San Francisco. 6-hour flight, but of course the 3-hour difference. I got there like at 11:30 their time.
Right.
So yeah, I got to the
You had,
court.
like an hour to spare.
Yeah, basically, but the traffic was horrendous. And so I get to the court basically right on point, right on time. I found the courtroom. I actually passed the guy when I was looking for it, and I think he was looking for me. And I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't have a photo or anything. So I just went to the room and hoped that he was there. And I was getting text messages from the firm in Los Angeles saying, "Hey, he's looking for you." I'm like, and I'm looking for him. So I finally saw him, and we went in, and there was another case in front of us, and they didn't have a lawyer. So the judge was like, "Okay, let me resolve this before I handle you guys, because he's got representation and this guy doesn't." So I'm like, "Okay, perfect. I can talk to this guy." So I talked to him, and I told him, "Yo, I'm your lawyer. I've read your case. I've got questions, all this stuff like that." And USA versus Canada in this next matchup. So I was asking him, "Hey, have you been prepped?" And he told me he hadn't been. So that kind of worried me a little bit. because I try to prep most of my clients. But and I know they try to prep them in Los Angeles too, but this guy didn't live there, so I think it was a little harder. And sometimes, I don't know, for different circumstances, the clients may not contact you enough, and because it's a two-way street with regards to prepping for your case, because there's only so much you can do if the person doesn't come in or call or whatever. And so like I give him the crash course. All right, this is what I'm gonna ask you. This is what we're gonna focus on. This is what's gonna happen. He didn't even know what was gonna happen. Like we're gonna ask you questions. I'm gonna go first. Judge can ask you whatever at any time, and then the government's gonna ask you questions, and then I might have some questions for you at the end. I told him, look, whatever happens, this isn't the end of the world, and I basically I had to coach him up, like, hey, you know your story better than anybody else in the world, so just tell it. Don't hold anything back. Don't feel bad about anything. Like, this is your one and only shot at this. All right, and we want.
And then you told him that.
Yeah, I told him that, but I mostly just try to tell him, like, just say everything. Because some people, that's another thing. Some people go and they don't, like, for whatever reason, either shyness or shame or what have you, or they don't say everything. Like they hold back. When this is the moment where they shouldn't hold back. This is the moment where, like, and I know some things are traumatic and hard to recount or hard to say in front of other people. Like, I get that. But it's like the one time you kind of have to be a little brave and be vulnerable, but it could help you in the end.
It's the freaking time to do it.
Yeah. I've told people, like, if you feel like crying, do it. Just straight up cry. Just do it. I like seeing it, actually, to be honest. Not in a sadistic sort of way, but in a, like,
From an office standpoint.
exactly.
Oh,
Exactly. Like, how, like, because one thing you're trying to prove is credibility. And,
it is very hard to learn how to cry on command.
right.
But
Exactly.
even trained actors have a tough time with that.
Right. And even then, they'd have to remember something traumatic in their own life just to do it. You know?
Exactly.
So, yeah. So so I told him, so I tell people, hey, if you feel like crying, you go ahead and cry. If it's hard for you. And one of the more important things I told him was, if you don't know an answer to a question, just say, I don't know. Like, don't force an answer, because then that could also come back to bite you. Like, if you legitimately do not know, then don't answer. So, because I've seen some nightmare cases. One in particular in Houston. And this wasn't, it was actually a continued individual hearing, which I'd never seen before. But the direct examination had already been done. So I basically went there to, like, I basically went there to look at the cross and maybe have redirect. But the guy, I swear this went so bad for this guy that I was convinced that he made up his story. I was,
The other guy?
in Houston, this other case that I had. Like, I was convinced that he made up his story just from the demeanor, just the way he acted, really. Like, even when we lost, he didn't look like he was devastated about it. Like, if you really wanted this and you lost, you'd be devastated. Right? But this guy was so nonchalant about it that I was like, okay, he either really, really doesn't take this seriously, or none of what he said happened. But regardless, that's another story. Anyways, so we finally get into the court. Judge gets us in there. We look through any evidence, any documents, all the exhibits, and then tells me, "Hey, go ahead and start." So I start my direct, and you know, I get through the fluff questions first. I have fluff questions at the beginning, you know, just to get them warmed up, just to get them a little comfortable. You know, how old are you? Where are you from? You have family there? What did you do? Did you go to school? Things like that. Just the easy stuff. Before I hit them with, so why are you afraid of going back? You know, that's always the first that I throw out there. Why are you afraid of going back? Because that's like, well, this happened to me. Oh, when did that? And that's when you start, you know, the direct. It's like, when did that happen? Why did it happen? How did it happen? Where did it happen? You know, all that stuff. You know, all you know, no leading questions. Actually, I've seen in immigration court, leading questions are a lot.
You're a bit more lenient on that.
Yeah. Some judges have kind of told me, hey, you're too many lead, or I've had some objections to it, but I tend to do, you know, non-leading most of the time. But sometimes I have to throw a leading one in there because I really, really want them to say a yes or no for this one, you know? Or it's just a question that it's hard to formulate in a non-leading question. It's like, do I really have to do this? You know? In any case, what was it? At some point, because the judge can ask whatever he wants at any time, but this judge, once I started talking about when he got attacked, he started getting into this case. Then the judge started running off question after question, and he was like writing stuff down, and I'm like, well, wow, he's into this.
The judge can ask questions as well.
Yeah, the judge can ask questions whenever he wants at any time. So like, he starts getting into it. I'm like, whoa, that's okay. And like, he's basically asking what I was gonna ask anyways. So it's making my job a little easier, but I'm also like, I'm trying to see where he's going, because if I can tell what he's trying to get out, then I'm like, okay, if he's like riding my wave, then I gotta figure out how to keep it going. So I'm always like, and like, he got to the end of one question that had to do with all the stuff that he suffered and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, so he's gone through all those questions, and he told me now I have to keep going. I'm like, so I'll get to the part about the police now, because that kind of follows. So that's when I have to strategize, you know.
Right.
And you know, when we're asking him this about his attack, that he starts crying and things like that. I'm like, oh, this is happening. It's good for the judge to see it, you know. And he showed where he got attacked. He has like a bullet hole in his face, or it's healed now, but you know, you can clearly tell.
Shot in the face?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, in the photo on Facebook, you can see on his like left cheek, there's like what looks like a dimple. That's no dimple. So
Take a look, but not that I don't believe you, but
yeah. Oh yeah, that Inkling just got frickin' yeah. So in any case, so I get through that, and I get through all of the aftermath, and then I get to the aftermath about, you know, his after he left, and he tells us, well, and it wasn't, and it was like, his brother got killed actually, because they were trying to find him. So they killed his brother as part of like in a sort of I don't know, as a message. So it's really awful, just like really awful stuff. Like this is really, he started crying there too. He's like, I never saw my brother again, you know. I didn't realize that would be the last time I would see him in my life. So so I get through all that, and then now the DHS, the government attorney, goes up, and she's mostly and I can tell when things aren't going well for the government with regards to an argument, because they start asking questions more about trying to discredit the person. Okay?
Right.
Trying to find contradictions in their stories, and any discrepancies, anything like that.
He's young.
Yeah, no, he's not an old dude. I'm actually older than him.
I was gonna say, he looks like my age, maybe younger.
Yeah, I think he is. He's probably late 20s. So
Where's this dimple you're talking about? I'm looking at
it's on his cheek.
his left cheek.
Yes.
Okay, I see what you're talking about. There's a little indent.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you can't really, like, it's not zoomed in with the photo, but it's there. It's very noticeable when you see it in front of you. So, in any case, why? I'm sorry, I was on Twitter, and hold on, let me see if I can. Actually, let me see if I can post it here, and you will be offended along with me. What's his Twitter account? Go Nintendo tweet. Okay, right here. Trying to find it. Okay.
That things are getting in the U.S., and believe me, they are getting pretty bad. If you have any semblance of a common sense, I guess I'll call it, but man, we're still not as bad as it could be, I think. Well,
Yeah.
it's getting there.
Yeah. Well. Anyways.
I don't like to dip into politics, just some dip. Man.
Okay, so. So, anyways, do you see what's on screen here?
Mustache with Mario.
Yes. So, I am offended. And I love the comments underneath. I love the comments underneath, you'll see. This is offensive and I would like it to be outlawed, please. I'm calling the police.
I want to show you something really funny I saw a couple of days ago.
Yeah, Kevin, I love you, man, but I can't stand idly by when you propagate such terrifying imagery. Will anyone think of the children or the people that used to be children? Oh, gosh. Okay, enough of that. Oh yeah, so So yeah, when the government starts like doing credibility questions and only that, that's when like they don't have much else to go on. And the perfect thing was that whatever this woman tried to or was trying to get this guy to say or admit or whatever, he had a perfectly reasonable response. So like one of them was so he was hospitalized for like 10 days. I'm surprised he got out of the hospital. Well, it's El Salvador, so I don't know how their hospital systems are. Sure, if it was in the U.S., he would have been in the hospital for months, But anyways, he he was hospitalized for 10 days, and his parents, in between those 10 days, they tried to get him. They tried to file a police report. Okay. And so that King K. Rool is, unless I don't think he's gonna make it. Oh, wait a second. He might have a shot. I'm kind of into this right now. If he can pull it off. No, he's dead. Nice. Oh, wait. He's still alive. If he could pull off one really good move. Right here. A down. Holy crap. He did it! Oh! Wow! That was impressive. That was a great comeback. Okay. So he had, so in his declaration, it said that he had gone to the police, okay, to file a report. All right. So he had gone to police to file a report, and so she's like, and it also said that he did it twice. So she's like, how come you said you did it twice and that you went to the police? And you said before that your parents went. So what's going on here? And so he's like, well, my parents tried to go to the police first, but the police told her that only the victim could come and file the report. So after I got out of the hospital, I went with them to file a report. Okay? So I'm like, oh, that's a perfectly reasonable response, right? Kind of explains it. Explains the issue. So then she tried to ask, well, and then she followed up with, you said that you were hospitalized for 10 days and that afterwards you couldn't like, you didn't walk for a long time and you didn't go to work and all this stuff. So how were you able to go to the police? And the guy had another perfectly reasonable response, and, well, I feared for the life of my family, and I didn't care what pain I was in. I was gonna go and do what I had to do. And I'm like, oh, and he threw in the family there. As I guess in a way a defense attorney. I guess in a criminal sense, if that was a defense attorney, they probably would have, like, I don't know. They would have, that was like, oh, that's the perfect response. Ooh, I got chills. Like, that's, wow. He, like, if that was Smash, he just owned her, with that response. Like, how are you gonna come back with anything? So he just said, I feared for the life of my family, my wife, and my kids. Yeah, how do you get? I would do anything. I don't care what pain I'm in. Dear Lord. So I had no redirect because I didn't feel like I had to. I'm like, okay. We'll do our closing arguments. So, mind you, I had said that I still believed I was going to lose. Because, I've been in so many cases and I've done so many of these, like I feel the inevitability, but, you do what you can, right? You try to figure out what you can, and who knows, maybe your case is the one that changes everything. If there's like a huge thing that happens. So you do the best you can, you make the best argument you can, and I did. I'm like, well, the police, I believe the police were involved in this and this and that because he told him, he told him, he moved away after he got attacked, after he recovered and everything. He moved to like another city, okay?
Right.
And the only people he told were his family and the police. So, from in a circumstantial evidence sort of point, how did this gang find him again? If the only people that knew were those two groups, and his family wasn't going to out him, that's for sure. So it could only mean one thing. All right.
He certainly had an ideal.
And I told him, look, this guy suffered to such extreme. Like, he not only was physically injured, he lost everything after that. He lost his business. His family had to leave to another city. He lost his home, and then he lost his other home when they found him again, and he had to leave again. His family's in hiding, and then they killed his brother. So they poured acid into his wounds, not salt. They poured acid into his wounds after all of this. You know?
If he didn't win, I would lose hope for humanity.
So yeah, the judge kind of, DHS basically whatever, and the judge says, give me 10, 15 minutes and I'll be back. Okay. And I went to the bathroom, checked my phone, whatever. The guy's sitting there all nervous and everything, didn't move a muscle, same positions, like he just super nervous, and I try to comfort him, like, hey, you're okay, and it's like, don't worry, this isn't the end. If it is the end, if we don't get what we want, just trying to, find something to comfort him, because I thought I've been, we're the losing cases, and you have to, calm the people down and tell them, there's still another chance, or you can stay a little longer if you do this, But I didn't want to say too much to them guy, because I don't think there was much else I could say that could comfort him at that point. It was just a matter of waiting. But
You can hear me, right?
yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Okay.
So like, I get there. So then the judge gets in, and he starts and he starts it the same way that all the judges start. He says this guy's from this place, and he's whatever, and this and that, and then he starts referencing this case law that's only in the Ninth Circuit, and I really should have realized that more, because I've been in the Fifth Circuit mostly, in the 11th Circuit, and
Like you said in the post, the Ninth Circuit is very liberal.
yeah, it's very progressive. It's California. It covers California, Oregon, Washington, like Nevada, like all those states. So I don't know what these people are doing here in this game. So he references this case law, and I vaguely recognized the name, but in Florida we'd never apply it because it's a Ninth Circuit case. They would never acknowledge it in the 11th Circuit. So the judge is like, yeah, this is, and he's distinguishing it from that case, and he's like, I believe this is it has the factors to that consider this asylum. I'm like, and at this point, I'm hearing what's happening, and I'm like, I'm getting shocked. I'm like, what's happening? What's going on here? So, the judge is like, and I'm like, holy crap, he's gonna give him asylum. Like I'm realizing it. I'm like, he's giving him asylum. He's gonna give it to him, and then he starts referencing humanitarian asylum, which I had heard of, but I'd never seen it been used, until I saw it before my eyes. Like he said, because humanitarian asylum is different. Humanitarian asylum is like, okay, forget that if you could prove that the government did this, or you're part of a particular social group, or you're this, and forget all of that crap. Okay, let's say you can't prove all that stuff, but you can prove that you suffered. Okay, and you suffered to such an extreme. You've proven it, that you've suffered to such an extreme, and you've also proven that there's a very high chance that if you go back, you're going to suffer to that same extreme or more, that they can give you asylum for that. And so the judge is like, I sent so many El Salvadorans back that, it's not like I haven't done this, but I believe if I send this one, the one in front of me, to El Salvador, that he's going to die. Like, and I can't knowingly send a guy to his death. And so I'm like, holy crap. I'm in shock, and I'm like, and these guys are just messing around here. So, like, we get to the point where the judge is telling the interpreter, like, I realize what's happening. And the guy doesn't, because the judge's words aren't being translated at this point.
Right.
So, and I haven't told the guy, and like, I'm still in shock. And so finally get to the point where the judge is like, all right, start telling him. And that's when, he starts crying. He knows now that he got it. I start tearing up. Like, how can you not? Like, I'm still on the point where I'm like, I didn't believe this could be possible. I had been in so many other cases, and the Ninth and then the 11th and 5th Circuit had already, made me accustomed to, such conservative rulings that, I got to California, and sheesh, the guy, probably the smartest decision he made was to move to California when he got here. As I told him afterwards, like, if you lived in Florida, I don't think you would get this. I don't even think you would get humanitarian asylum. I really don't. And it's kind of sad to say, but it's just what I've seen. So,
First, our country has so many different such a political spectrum in our country.
yeah, and that our courts aren't completely unified.
Right.
So, 'tis common law. In any case, we finally get out. I see the decision, because I still didn't believe it was real. And I'm like, this is real. And then we get out. The guy tried to shake my hand, and I'm like, nope, you're going to bring it in here. I swear if he was Alex Johnson, I would have done the squee. The schoolgirl squee that I always do when he hugs me. But this guy hugged me so tight. Ugh. I'll never forget that. Unless I get Alzheimer's, but yeah, I made it real, very real. In any case, yeah. I'm like, let's celebrate. So we go to the pier in San Francisco. Like, you could see Alcatraz and, the Bay Bridge and all that stuff. Like, you saw tourists. They took me there just because they knew it was my first time there. And we went to a restaurant that wouldn't have been out of place here, or out of place in Key West. Very ocean seafood themed restaurant,
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well have been Margaritaville or whatever. But we went there. I had fish and chips and stuff, and they wouldn't let me pay. I wanted to pay, but he wouldn't let me. He's like, "You are not paying. You are not paying for lunch. No way." I tried I'll pay for half. He's like, "You're not paying a single cent," And Charles has chimed in here. Dak wants 40 million. That's been debunked, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's already on Twitter that's not true.
Okay, it was just somebody that posted it. Was it Adam Schefter, but Schefter is spelled with chef?
I don't know.
One of those fake Twitter accounts that's one letter off, and they put a blue circle that makes it think it's a symbol. It's a check mark. So what was it? So yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't know life would bring me here, but it did. So glad I wasn't in family law. I don't think you get those type of cases in family law.
It's certainly a much more feeling, if you will, because depending on the case, because you were literally saving their life.
Right. I guess the maybe an equivalent would be like a defense attorney. Defending somebody that knows, that is truly innocent.
Well, more than that, it's someone who's truly innocent, who, if they get convicted, are almost certainly getting the death penalty.
Yeah, or life, or 20 years, or or something significantly huge. Or like that Brian Banks movie, where they kind of prove that he didn't do it.
Right.
So, yeah. Holy crap. Alright, so this impromptu stream has taken a huge tangent, but I think our 2 screens are good for the future season. Now, these screens are what kind of annoy me right now. Our segment screens. Like this, I don't know. It's so out of whack. It doesn't look appealing at all. I hate it right now. So I don't know what we can do with these. I have no idea how to put word from our non-sponsors, or our segments, or Fulmer Cup, all this stuff.
Let me see.
I don't know, cause okay, so let's see what we can do with what we can't do without. Okay, the title, right?
We can't do without the tile, but perhaps we can make it a little bit smaller. Well, no. I think we definitely can make the text box smaller.
Okay, so the chat.
Right.
Okay, so we can move. Okay, no, let's try and move some things around here. So, let me hide the search bar. Well, cause I kind of wish the search bar took up half the screen. Cause I like searching for the things, and post and showing like whatever our non-sponsor is, or whatever Fulmer thing is, or the
Right.
minor league team, like to show that off. Because at that point, the game screen isn't really the main thing that we're focusing on at this point, right?
Right.
So, all right. So let's try. Let me change the height of this, just to something bigger like that. Properties. 600 by, let's try 800. That's too big. 750 by 650. Let's try this. Like something like this, right? Where it's taking up half, and he said we can make this smaller, so let me make it smaller like that. That doesn't look so bad, right? And I guess the chat box can go in this corner here.
The lower left.
Yeah. So, and then I don't know, the game screen can kind of be in the background, kind of just here, not doing anything, because the sponsor logo is on top of it, right?
I don't know, man. I don't think that worked well. It's giving me a headache.
Okay, so whoops, that's not what I wanted to move. Right here? No, yeah, you're right. Unless I also have to take into account our crawl. So actually, let me add the NFL crawl to the top. There. Nope. A little smaller. And then add the split. Paste the duplicate up here. And move that out of the way. Oh crap. Oh crap. Oh, nice.
What?
The match here that I was watching. The sudden death. Alright, so now I can paste here and get our logo on the top right. Okay, so actually How about that? For now.
Let me see. My computer has so much up right now that it's running like a quarter. So I'm multitasking by closing some of these windows. The scroll thing, not the score bar, but the logo or whatever for the show. It's kind of peeking out a bit.
Where?
Oh, now it's gone. The thing in this case it had what was the thing? The memorial on the map.
Oh, okay.
It's poking out from behind the.
Oh, okay, yeah, I had it. I was moving it. Okay.
Only thing I'd change, if we're keeping it like this, which I think we should, move down the box, the segment box down just a little bit.
Just Alright, 1 second. You give it a little space on the top there. So it's not hugging that little divider.
I think at that point you shouldn't even have it, because it's almost illegible.
What?
The Sports Goofs title or
The episode, yeah. Yeah.
illegible at this point.
Yeah, I was trying to oh, okay. Let's see. Let's see what we can do with these. Okay. I think this looks a lot better now.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah.
Now I would just scooch the thing, the title card down a little bit more, so the distance between the search, the score crawl on the top, and the chat box is roughly equidistant.
There. Okay. I think that works. Alrighty.
Much better. Yep, there we go.
Actually, get rid of that right there. Where's the thanks thing? Let me lower this. There. Because I have to add the NFL score to this screen here. And I'll just copy and paste the other one and just switch out the... Like, it wasn't going to be a huge overhaul, but just enough to prep for our next few months.
Spring cleaning, if you will.
Or summer cleaning, if you will.
Spring cleaning.
Okay, that person just killed themselves. Interesting. So the Marlins got 29,000 people at one of their games this past weekend, which is an accomplishment, which is why I'm mentioning it. Like for other teams, huh?
That's why I said, what? And
Well, you're a Rays fan, so they don't even get that either. So
I know, but I'm Marlins are my number 2 team.
I know, but it was just surprising that they drew that much. Now I think it was a combination of different things.
Legit 29,000?
Yes, because and I'll tell you why. So Derek Jeter and crew have decided to actually count the butts in the seat, or maybe not in the seat, but the butts in the building as the actual attendance for that game.
Right.
So they're not counting tickets sold, and they're not counting they're not counting tickets sold or freebies. They're just counting people that have passed through the turnstiles.
Right.
So if you bought your ticket and you didn't go to the game, it's not. Yeah, you just like in school, if you didn't go, you didn't attend.
Right.
So that's pretty commendable. That's one, because it means they've opened themselves to more ripping. Because people are gonna look at their attendance numbers and be like, "Oh God, you guys are that awful with this." But of course, let's take a look at like the Baltimore Orioles. I'm pretty darn sure their attendance numbers are not what they really are.
Probably not.
Actually, let's look it up. Since we're here on this impromptu stream here, and we'll use our search screen as the proof here. So let's actually, I haven't even looked at the baseball attendance numbers this year, so why not? Interact. So let's pop this open. Alright, that's bigger. Alright, so ESPN, MLB, attendance. It usually fills this in for me right now. Yes. Okay, 2019. Alright, so the team that's averaged the most so far are the Los Angeles Dodgers, of course.
Not surprising.
They've got the biggest stadium, and they're really, really good right now. Followed by the Cardinals and the Yankees, the Cubs, and the Rockies.
Kind of surprised by
Colorado.
Kind of surprised by the Cards.
Well, the Cards I'm not surprised by. You know, they always have good attendance. I think they have a pretty large stadium. Their team is all right, not great. Well, the National League isn't good this year, outside of LA. And even then, and you know my feelings on the Braves. I think they're a pretender, to be honest.
Think they're a pretender?
Oh yeah, I think they're more. I think they've benefited mostly from a division that's beating up on each other with regards to the Phillies, the Nationals, and the Mets.
I
And
just
the Marlins have been really bad against the Braves, except for this last weekend. But
yeah. I just had an amazing idea. If we were like a legit show where we could afford licensing rights,
like John Boy.
so probably about a decade ago, maybe more, there was this show on NBC called The Contender. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, it was like a boxing.
Yeah, it's
Sylvester Stallone.
uh,
I think he produced it.
possible. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So there was that show, The Contender, and then the Foo Fighters have a song called Pretender.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to, like, if we were like in the heat of the playoff hunt,
Mm-hmm.
do a pretender theme or a pretender segment,
Yeah.
and then kind of like that guy on CNBC where if he says buy or sell, he hits this big massive button that makes sound effects.
Uh-huh.
You see where I'm going with this?
Okay. Yeah.
So if we
Well, we could do that in September. We'll
So,
look.
like, if we're saying a team is a contender, we'll briefly play this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
Wait, I thought I fixed the screen for our coverage. Crap. I think I could get rid of this bit and get rid of our episode title. it's not really that necessary in this regards. And we could actually stretch this screen. Not that one.
3, 2, 1, go!
Uh, 1280 by 760. Let's try that. Nope. Let's try 1000. Oh gosh. Try 700. $625. 635. I think that works. Like a pixel off. 636. Alright. Bye. Let's try 1420. And that seems to be the perfect size. Okay. So we'll lock that in.
Let's do that again sometime.
Actually, I could add the split back. Jigglypuff. Alright, so I guess I'm on my own now for this. I think Andrew's probably gone to get some supper. Alright, so I think I've got this where I almost want it. Just all the information I want to display at the same time. That's the thing. I go, wait. I don't think I have to show the title card. In fact, really the title card, you only really see it on our YouTube page. That's the only thing that displays our different title screens. So I don't think it's as important. Well, actually, our YouTube page and I think our SoundCloud. So I'll probably just tailor it to that, and then that's it. But Twitch and Periscope and all those, they don't really have you display the name of the episode or anything like that. So it's probably not as important to me now to display it as it used to be. And that's good. I don't have to take as much time working on a title screen. I can just put Sports Goof 32 and even then YouTube isn't our best platform anyway, so it's not a huge loss, to be honest. It'd be nice to stand out with episodes title screens, and I'll work on them, but they won't be as high of a priority. I'll probably do them last minute before I post. So let me see. And then after I'm done with this, I'll probably take a little break and then probably play some Splatoon or something later on. I have lots of games I could play. I just bought a ton of them on the eShop for the Switch. I bought Turok 1 and 2 and Doom 1, 2, and 3. So I have plenty of entertainment for myself, especially for the upcoming plane trips. I'll be on the plane and I can just play those. So I actually have plenty of games in my backlog that I have to get through, so I have to start. It's easy though on the Switch. Like Doom 1, 2, and 3, you can get all 3 of those games for $20. And that's a lot of value for $20. Okay, just imagine. I think Doom 1. How many hours is that game? 2 hours, maybe 3. I have no idea. Doom 2, maybe the same, a little longer, and then Doom 3 might be a 5 to 10 hour game. So you've already, if you're thinking of it in a movie standpoint, you've come out on top. So yeah, just trying to figure out how I'm gonna resize this search screen again. Let's try 1100. Let's see where that gets us. Close enough. Close to what I want. Let's try 1000. Oh, too far. So 1100 was. So one. Let's put 1075. That's good. That's a good spot. Perfect. And the backup background that I have here, just in case things fail us, usually goes there. So we'll kind of. Just kind of put it there. And there we go. so where's that vertical one that I just made for? Well, I think I could change SG chat, right? Well, let's see. Let's go back to sponsors and see how this looks. No, we'll leave SG chat the way it is. What we will do is take it off. Actually, and let me try out Elgato 4x3. Just to see where it's at. Don't know why it's doing that to me, but just do that right there. That's fine. Okay, right there. Oh, he's dead. Oh, wow. What a move. What a move. Okay. Good on Dark Pit for winning that one. Okay, so I think what I will do is get the vertical chat back. Here, just copy this. Go back to the search screen. And we'll make a new one. We'll call it search chat. And we'll put width 400 by heights. We'll put 700 and see where we go from there. All right, that's not too shabby of a starting point. So let's try out 600 and 350. Getting closer. Getting way closer, actually. Getting so much closer that it's not even funny. 300. Let's do that. Okay, 550. We'll do that. Yes. Yes. Okay, this is good. All right.
fair.
unless I get rid of the split. Well, not get rid of it, but make it smaller so it doesn't fall right through. Hmm. Hmm. Why isn't this working? Alright, I think I'm done. Alright, guys, that's it.